Well, it's been, what is it, a few weeks? Almost a month. I thought I would do a review, kind of like first impressions after this kind of like prolonged test drive of my 2023 Jeep Compass Trailhawk Elite. This is like the higher trim of Trailhawk, where they start here in Canada at, you know, like 35,000 bucks for the basic one, and this one is 50,000 Canadian. So I got it from the dealer. It just came in from the factory, right? And I really like I told the guy, I said, I need something with a tall ground clearance and 4x4. And my brother in Moscow has been a big fan of these small, you know, SUVs built on a car chassis, right? Not like the old school SUV where they were built on a truck chassis, right? Where they had a frame. Like these are all, what they call them, crossover, right? Because it's built on a car chassis, there's no frame. So because of that, it's lighter, but of course it's not as safe as a truck-based SUV. But those are monsters, you know, like Ford Explorer, stuff like that. Very big ones, very expensive. So I wanted to have something, you know, utilitarian, right? Something functional. And one thing I can tell you is that now I have 2674 kilometers, 2,674. What is it? 600, 1,200 plus 3. So basically 1,500 miles. And it's all around Calgary. And I went to the mountains. I went hiking a couple of times, right? I really enjoyed driving this. It's like inside, you know, it's very quiet, and it feels like the fighter jet cockpit, you know. I don't know, like I like the steering wheel, like all the controls are close here. I wish they would okay, which way I'm going? Yeah, I'm going to this Starbucks over here. Like, I wish they would, the steering wheel, it's telescopic, but it's manual. There's a lever here, right? So whereas on my previous Challenger and Charger, it was electric. There's a button on the steering wheel and you know. But I'm almost 6 feet tall, so I always like to maximize the telescopic action, bring it closer to me, and keep the top of the wheel aligned approximately with my chin. You know, I find for me that's what works. I had the same on my semi truck, on my previous cars. And so all the controls are here. You know, this has adaptive cruise control, second time after the Challenger, after the Hellcat. And of course, I don't know, memory seats that I don't use. And also it has lots of safety features, right? So basically it helps you stay in the lane. Like, let's say if you start drifting, your steering wheel start vibrating, like slightly, you know, vibrating. And of course there's blind spot indicators, and also there's let's say if you driving in a residential area and you just look to the side for a second, there's a kid jumped in front of you, this thing will stop because it has a active braking for like pedestrians, and you know, if it senses an object in the front. So it's pretty cool. And interior, it's all because it's a high level trim. It's not the cheapest you know, Compass. So it's all inside, like, you know, leather. See, like nice stitching. The steering wheel feels fantastic, like very nice. And of course these are, I think they're vent seats. Yeah, there's venting, there's they're heated. I don't remember if my steering wheel is heated or not, but that comes in handy here in winter in Alberta. And also it's a bit quiet. Like, I'm not used to engine being so quiet, right? And I looked into changing the exhaust, but this thing has a turbo, 2-liter turbo engine. And so I went to a shop, and the guy says, no, it's gonna be like this. Even if you, he says the only thing you can do is, if you wanted to have if you want to have it a little bit louder, he says we can just straight pipe it, you know. We can do a muffler delete and just put in a straight pipe. But I never was a fan of this, because I know mufflers do serve a purpose. With mufflers, actually, you have more power. It's been proven in many experiments, right? So I don't like cutting off mufflers like this. Something should be there, but this guy says because it's a turbo, no matter what you do, it's going to be quiet. And so actually, I was a bit disappointed at first, but now actually I came to like it, because all my previous vehicles, I modified them to the point where they became so loud that they became uncomfortable. You know, you always get carried away with all these mods. So here I have 0 mods, nothing, all factory, everything the same way I got it. And I use it for work, like to do deliveries, right, sometimes. And I used 87 gas, which according to the manual, that's all this engine needs. Basic 87 gas here, the cheapest. But I found that a couple of times I put in 91, because we have 87, most stations here in Calgary, you have 87, 89, 91. And then some of them will have 93 and 94. And so this time I put in 91, and I noticed right away that the car picks up speed faster, you know, and it's more pleasant to drive. There's kind of like less lag, you know. So I think it really likes 91, you know. And I've been always a big fan of 91, kind of like medium, you know, a good balance of performance and price. Not the most expensive gas, but not the cheapest. So I think from now on I'll be using 91. It's only 87 yesterday, or Friday was $1.42 per liter Canadian, and 91 was $1.56. You know, a couple of cents per liter, no big deal. So like economy in the city, it's not the greatest. You see, like I've been doing yesterday, lots of driving. It shows 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers. But as soon as I go on the highway, it starts dropping like crazy towards pretty much like 8, maybe even 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers, you know. And also this one has, you can switch, you can do manual gear change, but it doesn't have complete M mode like what I had on Challenger and Charger, but you can still do this, you know. All right, so I'm at my Starbucks here. These guys keep blocking the, what is this, a Rockview project. Okay, so this is my plaza, and of course this thing has cameras. Oh, and also the cool thing is that it has a 360 view, you know, like over here. Man, it shows me a view from the top, so that I can, you know, adjust the position as soon as I put it in reverse, right? See, I can choose this. Oh wow, this is even better. This shows you like a wide angle. What is this? What, has a front camera as well? Wow. See, this is, oh, somebody's walking behind me. See, you see legs. And this one, wow. So it has cameras all over the place. But is it only for reverse? I think I like this one. Okay, hold on. If I leave it like that, will it be in that mode? No. Top view, rear view. Okay. But maybe there is a way. Okay, hold on. Vehicle. settings, no wait, controls, surround camera, check entire surroundings. But how do I make it? So basically when I put it in the reverse, see, it automatically goes into this, so you have to manually select it. But I mean, it's very, very feature rich, you know. So no sunroof. I don't like sunroofs. One thing I don't like before we go outside is yeah, and the gauges. I like how you can do this, you know, like everything is digital. You know, you can change your gauges, and of course you can adjust, you know, kilometers, miles, whatever. Like when I checked my tire pressure, it showed me bars, you know, units, bar units. I don't know those, so I went and I changed tire pressure to PSI. So lots of information here, so definitely actually even better than on the Hellcat. And a couple of things I don't like inside. I don't like how loud is the auto mode. Like, I don't know why, but it keeps working, you know, like on the Challenger Charger. If you go into auto mode, once it reaches the temperature, and of course it has a climate control, right? So I just changed the temperature here, let's say 20.5 Celsius over there, so it's separate zones, right? Same as what I had on Charger and Challenger. But it becomes very loud, especially if you do recirculation, you know. I usually, that's what I use when I had a Kenworth. All my cars, I just use auto mode, and actually I don't even use recirculation unless it's like really hot, you know. But then of course if it gets too loud, what you can do is just you can manually adjust the fan, but then it's not auto anymore, right? It just shows you AC, you know. But for some reason, I don't know why it keeps puffing air, even though, like, you know, the temperature now outside is plus 18, here it's 20.5. What I'm asking, right? So I'm actually asking for warmer interior, which maybe is not a good idea. See, if I put 18, no, it gets louder. Maybe keep it on 20. So that's one thing I don't like, that it's loud. But here again, everything is, see, four-wheel drive, four-wheel lock, auto, like rocks, snow. So this would be, I really look forward to driving this in winter. Of course, electric mirrors, electric windows, auto headlights, I like those. One thing I don't like is that this thing over here, it goes like this. I don't know if you can see it. So you can push it forward, you can push it backwards. If you open it, there's only one compartment. Like normally on all vehicles I know, the top opens as well. Hold on a second. Oh man, just spent like an hour on the phone with a friend of mine from Indiana, my fan who's watching my YouTube videos. But to continue with the Jeep, so sorry it's a bit dirty, that's from my last visit to the public land, but man, outside we have music. That's not good. Yeah, I'm super happy with that the Jeep came with its own mats. Usually you don't get any floor mats, you have to pay extra. So the seats are super nice, very, you know, high quality stitching, and on the dash as well. And I like this plastic, and of course it's rated for trails. It's very nice ground clearance. I love these black wheels. They're part of the Trailhawk Elite package. I love these tow hooks. Looks very solid. And then underneath, I was trying to show that there's plates covering the transmission, the engine. So it's set up for, you know, some mild off-roading. And I always love this when you have turn signals on the mirrors. And if you activate your four-way flashers, you see the lights on mirrors flash. And of course all the lights are LED. It's all, you know, super modern. And then the trunk is super useful. It's not too big, but you can push down the seats in the back and they fold. Yeah, you push them down and they fold, and you can close it either by pushing that button that I just did, or you can use your remote. So you see that sign on the right says Trailhawk, so it's 4x4, and there's another tow hook in the back, and the rear windows are tinted from the factory. So I love this Jeep. Sorry, I couldn't record outside, so I had to do a voiceover because there's music playing everywhere, and of course I cannot show copyrighted music. And another thing I like, that it has a pretty decent navigation here, but now we have to start the air conditioning because it's really hot, even though outside it says plus 18. But actually one thing, two issues I wanted to mention. Yes, he's gonna get pretty loud now, so we're gonna go manual. So one issue I had a couple of times when this thing was sitting like this, because you see the way they did this, it's not part of the dash, right? It stands up, it's like a tablet, and so it has a pretty good exposure here to the sun. You know, it's all kind of like plastic and metal, and a couple of times I noticed that it would turn itself off, you know, like it would go like this when it gets very hot. Like if you leave the car like now, like basically normally what I do is same way I did, you know, when I use a tablet in my truck. I noticed I had similar issue with tablets, because you know, I wish they would not do it like this, like, because this is kind of like a separate unit, you know. But I'm guessing like there should be some kind of a protection here, but instead, yeah, it gets very hot under the sun. And so, but now it seems to be working because it's not that hot. But that's one issue. And then another issue, hold on, let me get this out. For a few days prior, I've been having trouble locking the car. You know, when you have your key, right, you can just touch the button on the handle to lock it, or you can just click here, right, lock, if you're walking away. But I find for me the easiest way is just I keep it in the pants and in the pocket, and I just, when I close the door, I just push that button on the handle, and then of course when you come in, you just have to put your palm under the handle and it opens, right? And so I noticed that a couple of times, you know, I close the door, I try to lock it, nothing happens. I push the button, nothing. I push this button, nothing. But then so I thought, wait a second, like the car is, I don't know, 1 month old. Cannot be that the battery is already exhausted, you know. But that's what it was. So yesterday I was doing some deliveries, right? I picked up 2 orders, and then and when I was leaving the car, I couldn't lock it, right? I couldn't lock it, nothing worked, the button did not work, this did not work, and I have to go. I parked near the coffee shop, I have to go inside. And so what I did is, when the door was open, I punched this button, a lock, and then I closed the door, and it worked, right? I'm guessing. I thought, okay, when I come back, if the remote does not work, I'll just use the key, right? Because there's a hole in the door, so you can open it with this kind of like emergency key. Guess what? I tried to open it, it did not work, so I got this key out. I opened the door with this. As soon as I opened, the alarm started blaring super loud. So I hide inside, I push all these buttons, I push these buttons, it gives me a message saying burglary attempt detected, no key detected. Basically, it cannot see the fob, you know. And I'm thinking, man, what do I do? So I start calling roadside assistance. They put me on hold. I said, forget it. So I moved it a couple of times like this, just knocked it on the steering wheel, and it started working. And I was able to start the car. And then after I delivered that those 2 packages, by the way, they paid pretty good, like just from a coffee shop, a couple of bags. Same coffee shop, but 2 different customers in the same direction, one after another, you know. It was beautiful. So anyway, so that was a bit of a scare, and so I stopped by a gas station, because I do have this second key, like the one I'm using now. It's a second key. But I went to a gas station and I said, I found in the manual what kind of battery do I need. I think it's like CR, like a standard small round battery that they use in watches and stuff like that, right? And went to a gas station. The guy says, no, we don't have it. We just have regular, you know, AAA, AA batteries. But he says there's a Shoppers Drug Mart behind us. They might have it. And so I said, is it okay if I leave my car here? Because the Shoppers Drug Mart was like right next door. And he says, fine. And so I went there, and to my relief, they had all kinds of batteries, and I bought a 2-pack, and then it took me probably 10-15 minutes trying to figure out how to get the battery out. So now I'm an expert, because I did it like 2 or 3 times. Because first, when I open it, I put the battery correctly, but I'm guessing the contact, maybe that's why it was giving me trouble. The contacts are so flimsy in there, you know. They might have been, because it's probably all made in China, you know. And so I had to tweak those contacts. So after I did it first time, it did not work. Still says no fob detected, you know, when I try to start. So I open it. I thought, okay, I'll flip it to the other side, the battery. Nothing. And then finally I figured out that, yeah, it's something with the contact. So I open it again, 3rd time, surprisingly without breaking the fob itself, because you have to split it in half. And I played with those contacts, made sure that the battery was not loose, and then the contact on the other side was pushing into the body of the battery. So basically, you know, just basics, right? You have to make sure that the battery sits properly, right? But it's just surprising that after like 3 or 4 weeks, I never had this in any, you know me, I always buy new cars. I never had this, like on a Hellcat, on a Challenger, on a Charger. I think it's because of this. You see this? A. Oh yeah, okay. Now it's not gonna activate because of the air conditioning. It needs the engine running. But normally, basically, when you stop, right, it shuts down the engine. And most people I talk to about this, they don't like it, right? The problem is that there's no setting, like you can turn it off. Like if I click this, the red light comes on and it says off. So now the engine will not shut off. But the thing is that there's no setting anywhere, and I talked to the sales guy about this, Steven, who sold me this, who sold me the Hellcat, who sold me this, and he says, yeah, each time you have to do it manually. When you start, the guy fell asleep probably or something, or was drinking beer, I don't know. So each time you get in the car, you have to do this manually. So there's no setting where you can say, no, I don't want the engine to shut down. So that's one of the other annoying things about this. I never was a fan, and even this guy Steven, the sales guy, he says he has a vehicle like this with this thing, and he says when he gets in, he just turns it off. But the annoying part is that you have to do it every time, you know. But all in all, like I said, I am having fun, you know, driving this. So now we're just on this what is this, Country Hills Boulevard. So the airport is to my left here. There's always planes go this way, and this road, I don't know what happened here, some kind of a third world war or something, but the potholes here, that's why I keep the distance so that I can react. But I know all the potholes are on the right over here, and they marked them with chalk, and there's one patch already here. But here, man, it's like you can lose a wheel in there. And the guy behind me drives like 5 meters behind my bumper, and you cannot see the potholes when you're this close. So now I see that he slowed down, because if he drives that close after me, like all these potholes, they're like this deep over here. I know just this stretch for some reason near the airport, like here everything is cool, but you see the car, especially with 91 gas, man, it's so effortless, you know. I don't push it into the floor, but it's so quiet, you know. I'm not, the only thing I would do, I'm just waiting for K&N to release a filter. I really like those filters, you know. I think they're more efficient, they clean better, and you know, they last 100,000 miles, you know, like not the air intake, but just K&N panel filter, you know. Just basically they use better materials, so the better filtration gives you a bit of a better performance, and I know it improved the sound a little bit. So, but for now, because it's a 23 vehicle, they don't have it. Like they actually have, if I go to K&N website and it says enter your, you know, year, make and model, it finds it. It shows me available 23 Jeep Compass, but when I get to the field with the engine, the only engine available, it shows us 2.4 gas, which is the previous year, 2.4 liter 4-cylinder gas engine, and that's not the right engine. And so they don't have, I even called them. I called them because they said, oh, we have like 10,000 filters. But this is a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, but it's a totally different animal with 200 horsepower, right? Which is more than enough, you know, for this car, because it's so much lighter than, let's say, Hellcat or Challenger. And it just, I try not to, you know, push it just to like, what's my economy now? Okay, current is 11, 10, 8, 6, 5. That's liters per 100 kilometers. But average is like now shows 10.9, because I'm guessing I was idling. So yeah, this is Highway 2 or Deer Foot Trail, and this separates, as far as DoorDash is concerned, this separates Calgary East, where I live, from Calgary North. So this is Calgary North, which is this side of Deer Foot Trail or Highway 2, and south is this way and US border, and this way is Edmonton and Red Deer. And so as soon as I cross this Highway 2, I'm in Calgary North. Again, for delivery purposes, classification only. But you see how it picks up speed, you know, and you don't have to shift, right? So, all automatic. But I do miss sometimes my old, what was it, 2018 Challenger 392 with 6-speed manual. That was a fun car. But I did too many mods, it became too loud. So now we're keeping this one pretty much stock. Okay, so I'm just gonna, this is my kind of like base of operations here, because I'm gonna attempt to do some deliveries. First I'm gonna have lunch, then I'll try to make a couple of bucks. And so here they have McDonald's and they have Starbucks, and they have a couple of bunch of other restaurants, so it's a good area. But anyway, so I just wanted to do a, you know, kind of like a review after 4 weeks of ownership, and this is my honest thoughts on Jeep Compass. So still happy, pretty happy with this vehicle. can't wait till winter to see how it performs in the snow. Oh yeah, but one more thing. I think it's because of the wheel size, right? Wheel size, only 17. It was super rough when I went to public land over there. Like, it's a pretty, you know, bad road with gravel and stuff like that. And this thing was just very rough, like handling very rough. Like on pavement, it's excellent. You know, very nice, smooth suspension. But on dirt roads, I don't know. Like, again, I really look forward to winter when I can compare with my previous vehicles to see how this performs in the snow, you know, with 4x4. You might go to mountains, stuff like that. Yeah, I see. Okay, so here they have McDonald's is usually very busy, Starbucks, Tash Kebab, my Afghan favorite place, is closed today. I don't know, for some reason Monday, like they open 6 days a week, but Monday they are closed. Otherwise I would go there and have some kebabs or something. All right, let's park next to this. What is this, Toyota? No, I don't like this. I don't want anybody. I had one guy park so close to me, so when he was opening the door, he hit me. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, man, because he was like this, you know. Don't want to park next to this huge truck. And there's no parking over there, and it's all for pre-orders. Okay, let's park in the dirt. Or maybe here, next to this Jiffy Lube. Oh, beautiful. Let's park next to somewhere here. I like parking next to a curb because this reduces the risk. Let's see. Reduces the risk that somebody can hit you. So basically now I'm only exposed from this side. Well, I was just passing by this touchless wash, so I thought I would go and give my baby a bath because it is pretty dirty. So this is a more expensive one. The cheapest one is 10 bucks. I chose $13. $13 and $2 extra for the wheels, because the wheels look pretty dirty. And this is the one where there's a transporter like moves your car, right? Like an escalator, you know? So everything is automatic. Let's see how it looks. If they clean the wheels, oh yeah, look at this. See, I paid extra for the wheels. Well, actually not really. But way nicer than it was before, you know. I really like these hooks. So if I get stuck somewhere, I know I should be okay. Yeah, looks good. I'm not gonna wash it off. I mean, I'm not gonna dry it up. I'm not that choosy. Anyway, this is it. Thanks for watching.